So this is a story of how I did a bunch of mushrooms, time traveled, spoke to a trickster god, saw a mushroom goddess, realized the games I've been playing on myself, and had a bunch of laughs. So yeah, enjoy. This is my trip report from doing nearly 3 grams of mushrooms with lemon tech, so like sprinkled lemon a little bit to make it stronger. That I did on the 28th of February, yeah, so a couple of days ago. The purpose of this video is so I can actually put this entire story together and maybe just share it. I don't know. I think it's important that I record this. It seems very important while I was stripping that I later on say what happened. So let's get into it, because this was one of the most magical ones out of my magic trips. I'm not gonna lie, this was also, I think, one of the highest doses I've ever done, and adding lemon juice to the mushrooms did make them stronger. I also had an empty stomach, which is very rare in my case because I do like to eat. So yeah, just a disclaimer, don't do it. If you don't know what you're doing, don't do it. Find somebody who can help you. If it's illegal where you are, don't do it. I don't know what else you need to hear, but this is for me. This is for me, and hopefully it will be an interesting story. It might sound impossible as well, so just go with it or don't. So anyway, my whole thing is I usually do it in the evening, and so I finished my day and I prepared the mushroom tea, and I decided to have some safety show playing in the background. So I played Norbit. It's usually like either a show or a movie, like a comedy, so there's something to ground me in case things get a little too trippy. But yeah, normally I would set a timer on my watch just to be aware how much time has passed since I've ingested the mixture. So I set the alarm for like 20 minutes and I lied down on my couch and I started yawning within, I kid you not, like 5 minutes. It's never been so fast. So yawning usually means that you are getting a little trippy, right? If you've done it, you know. So I start yawning and I'm like, Norbit is funny, but like this is getting a lot. So you know what, let me just look at the ceiling, and obviously the ceiling starts pulsating as usual, like the beautiful geometric shapes start happening, and I'm like, I can't, this is not the show I should be watching. I need to be paying attention to this. And so I pause it and I'm like, you know what, let me just play a little bit of music so it can go nicely together. And what I really like is Tyler, the Creator. When I'm tripping, I mean, I love him anyway, but he does have this quality of a magical music god to me. So I played Earthquake, which was getting harder and harder, like I'm trying to use the remote and I can't click, whatever. So I'm starting to play, and then I see I have my laptop here because I have some notes. And so I see that this is pleasing the mushrooms. And I start seeing that these shapes, which normally, they are on the window or the walls, and they're changing, they're dancing, but now they were dancing. And I could see that they are looking at me, and that it's not just the shapes, and something is coming out of the shapes. So I'm just like, oh, what is this? And so for a second, I feel like I see um, a shape of a woman, you know, like, and I'm like, huh? And then it goes away, you know, it's pulsating, it's dancing, you know, the shapes and everything. And then I see her again in a different shape, and then I see like a half of her face just like passing through, and I'm like, are you the mushroom goddess? And I can see her come out a little bit more, and she starts dancing and changing into shapes, and I'm like, I can't believe I met her. So I'm like, wow, this is happening for me. How come you're here? And you know, by this time my watch is sending me an alarm that, you know, the 20 minutes has passed, and I'm like, yeah, I know, I'm already tripping balls. The mushroom goddess is here. And so she's starting to, you know, show me different shapes and how she can turn into these different shapes. And she's obviously liking the song, and then another song is playing, so I can see that this is her vibe. And it's getting very, very strong, like the colors and the pulsating, like it's like right in my face. So I'm like, let me just close my eyes. And I realized that when I close my eyes, the music has a different depth. It's like I'm inside the radio when I close my eyes. So then I open my eyes, the music sounds different. The dimensions were just changing and changing. And like there's a little disco ball here, and it just keeps swinging my way and this way. Obviously it was not moving in this reality, but in the reality I was in, you know, the window is coming closer further. So I'm like, yeah, okay, this is gonna be a bigger one than I expected, you know, because I did set intentions. I set intentions to let go of some fears that I had, and to get the capacity to hold and express my gifts, my power. Yeah, and a few ones that I'm not gonna go into here because they're a little private, but that was pretty important to me. And so I can hear my brain trying to name whatever is happening, and I'm like, you can't. This is not the game. Stop trying to name what this shape is and how this looks. It's like, I'm like, stop, it's divine. I need to be here and now. And so at some point, you know, she's dancing, and I could see another entity here, and I'm like, oh God, that is giving the trickster god. I saw his face. It was very like geometric, but like I recognized him immediately. Like it's this inner knowing, especially if you know of who can show up, if you know the spirit world, right? And I'm like, no, no, let me just be with the goddess of mushrooms, right? And eventually I'm like, I see the goddess of mushrooms, she's like, she stops the dance and she starts like looking at the TV and leaning towards the TV. And I'm like, why did you stop? Why are you not creating and dancing for me anymore? And she's just like, and I'm like, oh, okay, so you're trying to tell me. You're trying to roast me a little bit, because this is what you see me doing. Like, instead of dancing and being my finest divine self, I just look at the fucking screen, right? And so that was, she was, at first I thought, you know, she was waiting for me to change the song or something, but no, it was this. She was like, stop looking at the TV, girl. That's why your creativity is busted. And I was like, oh, fuck. Yeah, I wrote here, she becomes every shade and every shape, and then from these shades she becomes. She's not using any words, but I know exactly what she wants. And so, you know, obviously I've tripped many times before, and I've even heard of her from other trip reports, but I never thought I would meet her. And so I asked her, how is it that today I got to see you, that today you showed me and you danced, and And you showed up, and she made me realize that before I have embarked on the trip, I had a really nice bath, and in that bath, I think for the first time in my life, I felt this feeling of actual self-love, where I looked at myself and I was like, thank you. Thank you for getting me here. And I thanked all of my past selves for doing all this work that got me here. It was so beautiful and very cathartic and happy. And I actually felt so proud of myself. And I felt like, finally I feel the way I wanted to feel with myself. I felt grateful for my intellect, for my beauty. I felt like, yeah, I'm okay, you know. It's there's no more reason to be so rough with myself. And so she said that my spirit was prepared, and that I danced before the trip as well, which was good. I showed myself love, and then and then, you know, I started laughing because it was a nice sort of like trick that she pulled, and I was like, oh shit, so the trickster god must be there a little bit, right? Yeah. So I started laughing a lot, and then I see that, you know, the shapes that were like swirling, they sort of they mirrored my laughing face to me. And obviously I can't see my face because there is no mirror in front of me, but this beautiful web of shapes that's like all around us, that's not visible usually, is mirroring whatever I'm mirroring to it. So it showed me my laughing face, and it played me my laughter, and it started, you know, if you imagine there is like a cooking robot, and there is dough inside, and this dough starts swirling. That's what happened with my face inside that web. It felt like mushrooms took my joy within the universe and mirrored it back to me, but then took it inside. So I was like, wow, this is beautiful. And they told me that the best thing that I have is my laughter. And it was just so sweet, you know, because I do like to laugh a lot. So yeah, and then they kind of roasted me a little bit. They were like, you do so much for approval of others, but you don't even approve of yourself. So how do you want your intentions to happen? Like, look at your smile, look at your laughter. Like, this is enough. Yeah. This was beautiful. So yeah, at some point I was like, yeah, so you did this beautiful dance for me. So like I can't even move, you know, I'm on mushrooms, like I'm just like barely moving. I feel a little paralyzed. This also happens to me a lot, where I'm just like, my body becomes very, very heavy. And so I'm like, so what, do you want me to dance for you now? And I'm like, I can barely move, but like I was like, you know what, I've never done this before. So I tried playing some music that I like dancing to, and it kept sounding distorted, like it would get chopped, you know, like the vibe was not right. Obviously, like I like some, like, you know, some ratchet music to dance to. So Mushrooms and the Goddess of Mushrooms were not having any of it, but like obviously they enjoyed that we played together. And so after I've gotten up, like I was like, okay, this is not how we can spend this trip, because this music is not, I need something older, I need something more real. So I started going towards like some African music, and I was like, no, this is still too new. I need something old. And then I was like, Fela Kuti, you know, which is hard. I adore Fela Kuti, but he does make me think of a relationship I used to be that was very, very intense, and left a lot of maybe scars. We can say scars in my heart. But it was joyful, you know. So I start playing his music, and I decide to lie down on the floor. And as I'm lying on the floor, I'm just like looking at my light bulbs in the background. I look up and hold on. Actually, let's go back a little bit because I checked. I started recording myself at that point, which is a lot, and I'm not sure if I'm going to include this in the video. However, I I start thinking about some like irregular things, and so I start thinking about, oh, this guy that I'm talking to, what would he even think if he knew that right now I am, you know, he's a serious businessman, and I'm tripping here. Like, what would he think? And I was like, I started laughing so hard. I was like, who cares what any man thinks of anything? And so like I started getting this very clear information from mushrooms that they know that patriarchy is coming to an end. Obviously, if we keep caring what other men think, what men think in general, we're going to remain where we are, and where they took us with their thinking is, you know, human children trafficking and whatever is happening around us. So I was like, actually, I should add this part here, because I was like, male gaze, and I started fucking rolling on the floor like, male gaze. Like, I couldn't take it. Like, who? Like, it was such an abstract thought to me that I would, or anybody would care what a man thinks. So that was a good one. So anyway, Fela Kuti is playing. I'm looking at the light bulbs, and I'm like, wow, the light bulbs are like, there is energy in the light bulbs. There's like lights that are dancing and changing shapes, and they're like purple, green, red, like flowing. And I was like, wow, that's so beautiful. And then I hear a saxophone, and I felt the saxophone literally healing my womb. Like, the sound of it resonated throughout my womb. And first of all, it felt like it was clearing it, but second of all, I felt this pleasure, but it was not like a sexual pleasure. It was like this pleasure just for the sakes of it, just like this soothing, beautiful feeling. And you know, it was amazing, because I have been struggling with pleasure in my life, in terms of I have a Capricorn stellium, I am an overachiever, ADHD, autistic woman with her own company. It's like, it's really difficult for me to find pleasure and find space for rest. So I have been like trying, but it's very hard to let go. So that was fantastic. And you know, me understanding that, and that's also what mushrooms showed me, that I usually subject myself into a rigorous, is that the word, rigorous levels of certain things that needs to be done. Then I can accept them, and only then I can let myself experience pleasure and rest. And that's obviously not good for anybody, especially me, in this case. So So I'm here, you know, this is a saxophone in my womb, the sound of saxophone in my womb. Um, I'm relaxed. I'm laying on the floor. I can feel myself slowly like sinking into the space between the wood, and I'm just like, oh, this is so relaxing. How did I even sink into the floor? And I was like, oh shit, it's the trickster god, isn't it? I thought I told him that I cannot talk to him, that I would not like that. Mm, and and so I look up at the ceiling again and the light bulbs, and I'm like, you know, the lights that are dancing in the light bulb are starting to look like legs of a spider, but it's not scary. It's like a spider made of electricity, changing colors, and it's like these legs are thick and like colorful and playful, and I'm just like, wait, why does this look like a spider? And then I'm like, oh shit. And then I realized that in West African traditions, the trickster god, especially in Ghana, is called anansi, which is a spider. A spider is, you know, the one that is that is that's how they portray him, right? He's so he's there, and I'm like, excuse me, like, what are you doing here? And that was insane, because like I've never done anything like it. Like, I have had some very interesting spiritual experiences, like mystical experiences, but like, first of all, I saw the goddess of mushrooms in, like, you know, in her light being person, and then over there there's there's the trickster god Anansi, which is the spider. And yeah, so I'm just like, okay, let's set some energetic boundaries. I guess if you're already here, like, that, it's probably like there is a purpose for that, but you know, we need to set a boundary, like, this is just tonight, and we're doing some like energetic work, just so, you know, later on I'm not screwed in the real life, let's say. And then I'm like, so how is it possible that you're here? Like, I thought the goddess was the star of this. And then and, you know, communicating with him, I clocked like, oh, so you tricked me. Like, you asked her to be your, like, to be the support in front of your performance. Like, oh my god, I got tricked. So like, I'm laughing my ass off, because like I can see him being very pleased with himself, because he knew what to do. I'm like, okay, well, since you're here, let's see what you have to say, right? Let's see what we're gonna do. I don't know how much time we have, and obviously he's like, I have all the time in the world. I'm like, yeah, you do, but this trip, I don't know how long am I gonna be seeing you, so what's going on here? And I'm like, you know what? Let's just be very clear, because I know you've been sending me your toughest soldiers, like the guys I recognize now. Some of them definitely had a bit of a trickster god within, and you know, the ex that I mentioned, with Fela Kuti and stuff, like, he did call himself a trickster god a few times. This is a different story. I believe he was a channel for many spirits, especially some ancient African stuff. So I'm like, you know what? I feel like I beat your toughest soldiers. He was not like the only trickster, but that was the final boss. That was the final boss. So I survived the final boss. So for that, I think you owe me some help, you know, because you've tested my abilities. And then I'm like, oh, wait, are we doing this because I'm also a Trickster. I'm like, oh shit. And then he made me realize, like, I'm lying on the floor and I'm like, are you telling me I played, like, are you telling me I have been playing my life like a trick? And it kind of is making sense. It really is making sense, because the way I do things can be very, yeah, like, I can see a lot of wings from the universe. And so I look up and, you know, there's like two little dots on the, like, one is red, one is green on the light bulb, and he's doing like a little wink. And I'm like, I know, I remember talking to the said ex, right? And we would talk about little winks that we leave to each other in different realities. So I was like, wait, so maybe it wasn't even my ex, maybe it was just you, like, manifesting through him, because, like, seriously, the guy had multiple personalities, and that's a different story for a different day, and I'm not sure if I can even say that story. But I know he was in touch with that entity that I met, so I wasn't sure, like, whether he brought him on, or it was Anansi that was just, you know, doing this to me throughout my 20s, right? Let me have some tea. So at some point I'm like, you know, the music is really good, and I'm like, why is it that me, my mom, and my brother, why are we so deeply sensitive to music? Because it's not even that, oh, we like music, it's just like, when the music is wrong, we feel physically uncomfortable. Okay, now the sun is wrong, not the sun, but the anyway, like, it's, where did that come from? What's the whole thing with the music? And so we go a little deeper together, and suddenly the song changes into this fella track called Zombie, and I'm like, oh, I don't like it, and he's like, you know, I'm like, did you just trick me into feeling uncomfortable with the music so I can face the discomfort within the lineage? I'm like, yeah, kind of, yeah. And so he made me realize that the same way I, one time when I was tripping with my friend, and she wasn't, by the way, I realized that her and her mother are like, she usually trips hits me. She's never done any psychedelics, but she's fantastic at it, like intuitively amazing. And her mother does something similar to others, however it's more with alcohol. Like, she never drinks alcohol, but she's surrounded with people who have problems with alcohol, and she sort of like keeps the space for them. It's weird, it's like a distorted version of whatever they were meant to do as a lineage, of medicine women. And so, not like my friend, she's really good at that. She has more firm boundaries than her mother. And I think, like, I saw the connection between this and how me and my mother are, and like, and my brother as well, and the thing with the music. So he's made me look into how we are sort of, because when something gets wrong with sounds and music, it feels like there's a cork that needs to be unplugged, like, so the energy can flow. So what we are is like some sort of keepers of music, keepers of the flow of the sound, you know. It's like, and then I'm just like, you keep tricking me into saying things like a trickster god that he is, right? And then I keep asking him, so where did this whole rhythm come from? Like, how is it that, you know, my grandmother was a dancer, a performer when my grandfather met her, and then they went to New York, like with the kids, and then my grandpa passed away in New York. This is when things start to get a little more crazy. So bear with me. And obviously we're Polish, so I'm asking, where did the rhythm come from? And he's like, Africa. I'm like, I know in general it came from Africa, but like, why is it that the family is so like what is going on? And I kept trying to go in there, and because, like, I know that my grandma is very important in this, and she was always very musical. Even when she got Alzheimer's, she remembered songs only, you know. So he told me grandmother in Africa. I'm like, yeah, but like we're Polish, so what's going on? And so yeah, the good thing is like he kept tricking me into having fun. So like I was trying to understand more and get more information from him, and he would just like do something, so I would start laughing or getting, oh shit, somebody's calling me. So anyway, going back to it, the trickster god keeps tricking me into having more fun. Like, basically, in my life, I would only start having fun once everything is falling apart, right? So it's like he was trying to have me eat my vegetables so I can get what I want, but in reverse. So he's trying to make me see that you will not get what you want until you start having fun. I'm like, oh fuck! So you really are tricking me, but in a really, I think you are misunderstood, very misunderstood, right? And so I start realizing that the reason why I was sort of assigned anansi, or like have encountered him so many times in my life, is because I always try to outsmart the universe. I'm like, yeah, but like I'll crack the code, right? Which everybody knows that's not the code, but I'm like, I'm smarter than that. And what's really beautiful is that he made me see, which I kind of already noticed when I was in the bathtub having my ritual, that I have been really downplaying how intelligent I am, and he's showing me like, yeah, you are, and I'm just like, yeah, but what do I do with this? Like, great, but like I don't know how to connect the little things in my head. Like, what do I do? It's like I feel like, you know, maybe you can help me. And yeah, so I think it's important that I mentioned that I think he is being very misunderstood, because yeah, the tricks he's playing, it's not always like, yeah, you know, tripping somebody. It's actually like it's his art. It's his art, and it's made for the smart ones that can see the wink from the universe, you know, like, yeah, this is shit at the moment, but you see how funny it is? Like, you know, I got you. Like, yeah, he can trick the people that really deserve it, which we'll get to in a minute. But but for the people that, you know, he has no choice, but like sometimes he has to wink to us, like, yeah, maybe things got a little weird, but hey, did you see that weird sign? It's from me, it will get better. And so I'm like, yeah, so you can also do good things, right? So why don't you help me out now? So obviously I'm like, this experience is so mind-blowing for me that I will have to tell somebody about this, and probably would like to tell more people. So let's agree that you help me see something, I will, you know, clear the misconception if I can, when I can. And this is just a big shortcut, right? But this is when I kind of start understanding that the web that he weaves, the tricky web, is interdimensional, so he can also do some time traveling. And so I asked him to support my family in the rough times that they went through in New York specifically. This is where my grandpa passed away, and you don't know my story because nobody really knows my story, but my grandfather, it only came out after my grandma got Alzheimer's, and just before she passed away, she started saying a lot of very random things a few years back, right, like maybe 10 years ago or so. Kind of turned out that he was like he was a spy. So at this point I can feel something like happening, and he showed me that he was with my grandfather just before he died. Like I saw myself connecting through my eye into the eye of my grandfather at his desk in New York, in Manhattan. And like I saw that Anansi was there trying to sort of be like, hey, this is not the end. Like, yeah, I know, because, you know, he died there, but it wasn't a natural death. So he was there to sort of, you know, just tell him, you guys are gonna be okay. Like, yeah, it's weird, but I don't know what type of sign he gave him. But this is where things get really, really trippy, because I was like, oh, now I'm understanding what was the sign. What he gave him then was the connection with me now. So I'm like, shit, the past is happening right now. Like, I sort of know, I know about the quantum physics, and I know it's literally everything happening all at once. It's just I've never actually traveled through time and space this way. I have, you know, gone back to my inner child and even my past selves and stuff, and I did go into past lives, but not like that. Not like that. I literally was there with my grandpa, and at first I felt like I wasn't the one communicating with him, so I just, you know, asked Anansi to pass the message that, you know, the family is okay and that grandma will be okay, we'll take care of her further down the line. I told him my mom, you know, was never really got over it, which is understandable because her dad was taken away from her and that was her favorite person in the world. So, you know, like Fela Kuti is playing, and I've asked this spider, this interdimensional spider, to weave a web that will support my family. That's why I get to speak to my grandfather now, and to give him a little bit of, like, you know, peace in his soul. And this is when I start understanding that I just created a time loop. And this is how I weaved the rhythm, the African music, into my family. This is so I did it now, but I lived through it. But because it went to the past, it went there, and it went down, and it went down. So I started clocking that I'm actually the ultimate trickster, and that actually I've been doing all of this to myself. So this was the hilarious thing. I'm like, oh shit, I've been doing all of this to myself. Well, obviously this whole situation was very emotional because I got to, you know, speak to my grandpa and like tell him everything, and sort of you know, give him a bit of a emotional boost in the tough situation. Tough, like the toughest, you know, the last moments of his life. And yeah, when I said the thing about my grandmother, I told him, you know, we will take care of her, and, you know, hopefully you guys can be together now. And this is when I saw that they are together now. And this is when I cried like nobody ever cried. Like, the release I went through was yeah, I realized also that was not really my grief, that I was just grieving for my mom because she was not allowed to grieve as a little girl, because, you know, it was different times and they had to leave New York and go back to Warsaw in the 70s. It was really rough, right? Nobody spoke about emotions, or no such thing at the time. So yeah, I've I've realized that despite him being portrayed as a trickster, he's also very handy. And you know, he was doing this, like I was doing this for a moment. I'm like, wow, this looks like I'm waiting for something. And like also your hands, like your legs as a spider, that's what you do, you know, like itsy bitsy spider and all that stuff. And I'm like, holy shit, you also like you actually do work with time, with like you are interdimensional in this way where you can actually place yourself at whoa. I don't even know how to explain this. I was like, this must be really hard to manage time on so many levels. But then on the other hand, like it's natural to you. But then on the other hand, the fact that something is natural doesn't mean that it's easy. That was something that stayed with me. And so I was like, hey, can you tell my grandpa, like, that this summer we actually went back to New York with my mom with my mom and my dad, and that we went back to where they used to live in Queens. We even went to get that pizza that they really liked, you know, and it's been there for, you know, decades. And at first we went to a different place, and my mom was like, that's not it, and then we couldn't find it. And so I'm telling him the story, and I'm like, and then like my mom tripped over something, and then then somebody asked her something, and then she said, oh yeah, I'm just looking for this place for this pizza. And like, yeah, they changed name, but this is that place. So we went there, and it turns out it's, you know, it's the best pizza I've ever had in my entire life. And so I'm telling him like, oh, we just like sort of by coincidence we tripped and we went there. And I'm like, oh, that was you as well. So it turns out that he actually, what he does is he creates weird coincidences so you can go where you want to go. Yeah, he did say he loves New York as well, so I think that's why he was there at the time. I mean, you know, it's an entity, it can be anywhere, but like he loves Nigeria, he loves New York. Very, very interesting. So I kind of plugged that, you know, with him as an entity, like obviously he's not the creator, the god of the entire universe, but with the powers he has, as a god, as a trickster god, he can be like a hacker of this reality and other realities. So it was very fascinating to see his ability to create good through sort of, yeah, tricking people into doing something. And at first you're like, oh, I don't like that, I don't want to do that, oh shit, like no, oh, I fell. Yeah, but you fell, but you found the place you were looking for, you know. So, you know, that's what he can do, and for that I am very grateful. So yeah, that was a very big one. Communing with the trickster god in the form of an electric spider, who also tricked me into seeing him by having the goddess of mushrooms perform for me. I think it was one of the most, you know, like incredible things that could have happened, and I'm ever so grateful for this. My laundry just finished. Yeah. So then I ordered pizza because what else? It was not good. Although it was funny because I felt like he was still playing little tricks on me because my intercom stopped working. I live on the 8th floor, so I ended up having to go downstairs, tripping balls outside to pick up my pizza in like my nightgown and everything. It was funny. I thought it was a nice touch. Yeah, he's also made me realize at some point that just as I was sent the toughest soldiers, you know, like some of the craziest fucking men I could deal with, uh I'm actually not completely innocent, which was a nice. No, it was not nice, but it was something. Uh, um, yeah, let me go back to what was said there. I tend to say, play stupid games, win stupid prizes. I tend to say it to men when they annoy me. But it turns out I'm actually the ultimate player of stupid games and the winner of stupid prizes. Because I am the trickster in my life. That's what he made me realize. And I think I should stop. So there we go. I think also one very important thing that I did not mention that I think is I think it's very soothing for people who have artsy souls but haven't found their art, and I feel very often like their life looks like a piece of art, but they don't know how to translate it into a piece of art, like a physical piece of art. What I was told is that the gods see more of us as artists, not just the ones who create, but there's also the ones who live their lives in a magical way. The gods really enjoy the performance more than singular pieces. So, you know, sometimes you're just like, oh, I wish somebody saw that, what I just did. They see you and they enjoy it. They find you to be real artists. That art is actually so much more than we perceive right now. And that's really annoying now that I see it, is because the ex I mentioned before, he had a deep belief on that he called himself a lifeist, even like a life artist. And I was like, yeah, that's great, but like, show me your work. Where's the money? Yeah, but that's a different story. I thought it was fun, but I never understood why he said that. Now I definitely see that. So I guess I'm very grateful to Trickster God for tricking me into understanding how I play myself, into understanding how my family is the way it is. Turns out I tricked them before I was born. Yeah, and you know, right now I know that mushrooms are still working inside me. I know, like, according to the studies, the effect of psilocybin can last up to 6 months on your neural path. So I'm curious what else will come up, but yeah, I love that. I love the fact that it showed me I love being on video, because I was lying on the floor and recording myself, and I was like, this is it. This is the art. It was cute. I watched it the day after, because normally I would do stuff like this and then I wouldn't want to watch it, but this time I was like, yeah, you know what? Let me respect the creator from the day before. And so I watched this and I was like, wow, this is actually really good. And it was good in terms of the performance, the live performance. Yeah, so in any case, big lessons. Is there anything else I would like to add? I guess not. Maybe I'll remember something else. Maybe I'll add it. Other than that, well, if you got here, thank you. Otherwise, I'm grateful I did this for myself, and hopefully at some point when I'm 90, my grandchildren can see that grandma was fucking batshit crazy, and that's why they like to dance.